Hey, what's going on YouTube? JC here again with Wedge Concepts, and in this video I'm going to help you increase your credit limits. All right, so let's get right to it. All right, thank you for checking out my channel, and like I mentioned in this video, I'm just going to give you some tips and some tricks on how to increase your credit limits. All right. Hey, what's going on? I had to interrupt the video to let y'all know about my book, Broke Budgeting. Okay, it's on Amazon. 5 simple strategies. Okay, the link is going to be in the description. Make sure you pick up a copy. I have a Kindle version as well as a paperback. All right, let's get back to your video. All right, so everybody wants to have high limit credit cards, right? And when I say high limit, I'm referring to 10,000 and above. Everybody should strive to have at least $10,000 as far as the credit limit on at least one of your cards. With a $10,000 limit, this lets every lender know that you are not subprime and that there are financial institutions who believe that you are trustworthy, right? And also, just think of it this way: with a $10,000 credit card limit, you could spend $3,000 in a month and still be under that 30% utilization. Now, I say 30%, but I believe 10% and below is where you want to be, because that's what the lenders like to see. All right, so when you are going, and I'm going under the assumption that you already have credit cards, right? So let's say you got a credit card that has a $1,000 limit, a $2,500 limit, and a $5,000 limit. All right. So when you go to either apply for a new card or even ask for a credit limit increase, the lender, what they'll do is they'll pull your credit report, and they like to look for your max usage, your utilization on that particular card, like a high balance. So you'll have to pull an actual credit report. This is not something that you will see on Credit Karma or even on Experian, I don't believe. But if you pull your actual report, it'll actually show a high balance. This means this is the highest balance your credit card has ever been. Not necessarily that it closed at that balance, but it's been the highest. So they like to see how far you've stretched yourself and how much you've paid it back down, right? Okay, so they also look at what your other credit card limits are. So if you go and you apply for a new credit card and you have 2 credit cards, one is at 1,000, another's at 2,000, you may get 5,000, especially with the Visa Signature. I like the Visa Signature because most Visa Signatures start out at 5,000. That's a little tip for you. So they look at, they're not going to give you more credit if no one else is giving you credit. So if Bank of America and Wells Fargo gave you 1,000 and 2,000, why would Chase all of a sudden give you 10,000? Right? That doesn't make sense. But hopefully you'll build up that trust and you'll get to that level. So this technique, if you will, this strategy is strictly for grown folks only. Okay, because this is not child's play. Okay, this is dealing with credit and money and credit scores. So this is only for grown folks. Now this process is going to take about 3 months, 90 days. And again, your goal is to take one of your credit cards and get to $10,000 within 3 months. Now, using the example that I gave you with the 3 credit cards, the 1, the 3, or 1, 2,500 and 5,000, you want to take your card with your highest limit. So that'll be the $5,000 card. You want to use that card for everything. And you can actually use your credit card to pay your rent and your car notes and all types of other stuff through third-party vendors. You can use Plastique, Plastic. That's a great website, plastic.com. that allows you to, what happens is you use your card, they'll print off a check. It's like a 2-week grace period though. So it'll take 2 weeks. They'll print off a check. They'll mail it to you. But on your credit card, you have that one charge. All right. So the goal is that you want to use your credit card and buy everything that you normally buy. You're not going to be buying things that you normally wouldn't buy, but you just use your credit card. Now, for this to work, your money in your savings and checking account, you're not going to touch at all because you're going to need that money to pay down the car. Okay. So now, let's say you get paid $1,500 every pay period, right? Every 2 weeks. You're going to use your card like you normally would. And then once you get paid, you're going to pay down $1,000 immediately on that card. Now, you need to verify, very important, you need to know when the closing date is, okay? Because you got to time this strategically so that way when that closing date hits, your credit limit cannot be above 5%, okay? So let's regroup. Let's make sure we got this. You're going to be using your card as you see fit, buying everything you need, right? You're going to go ahead and when you get paid, you're going to pay down $1,000 or whatever, how much you have to get that down. If your billing closes or your statement closes on the 10th of the month, then you want to make your final payment on the 7th because you want to give yourself a couple days for processing to make sure it goes through. Okay. So then what's going to happen is you're going to knock that down to 5% or below. And that's what's going to get reported to the credit bureau. Okay. So now if you remember what I said about how these banks and lenders, they look at your high usage. You're going to do this for 3 months, 90 days. They're going to see that not only have you used a lot of your $5,000, but you've also made multiple payments in the billing cycle before it closed. Okay. And after it closed, it was still below 5%. And guess what? When that thing closes on the 10th, on the 11th or 12th, you're making that final payment and zeroing it out. Okay. Once that zeroes out, you repeat the process for 2 more months. So this is a 90-day strategy, 3 months. Okay. Now, so once you do that, okay, and you're in the process of doing this, you can go ahead and at the end of 90 days, you can go to your lender. Let's say you're with Capital One and you say, hey, Capital One, this credit card limit is $5,000. I definitely need credit limit increase. Let's bump it up to 10,000. Go straight for 10 if you're at 5. They'll run their computer system, such and such. Congratulations, you got $10,000. All right? Just like that. Now, I don't know your credit score. That's assuming that your credit score is 720 or above. So let's say your credit score isn't quite that high or it's close to 720. No problem. Well, little problem, a little more finagle, a little more strategy involved. So now what you got to do is, as you're going through this process of this, the 90-day drill, if you will, you have to find someone who can add you as a joint account holder. Now, the catch is they have to have at least, the card they're adding you to has to have a limit of at least 10,000 or more. I'm not talking about an authorized user, because when they pull the report up and they pull your credit report, they're going to see that you're an authorized user only and you're not the primary. What I'm talking about, again, this is grown folk. And this can be done temporarily, right? So, you know, if you ask your significant other, you know, be careful. But this is only temporary, and this will build both you guys' credit together. But you will actually go into the bank. They'll say, hey, we're going to add this person as a authorized user. It is going to be a hard pull, most likely. I'm 95, 96% sure it's going to be a hard pull. They pull your credit report. Now, again, before you start this 90-day process, you're already aware of what your credit score is and what your credit report looks like because you've done all that research beforehand. So once you become an authorized account holder for that card, for your significant other or great friend, a really, really great friend, that's going to be added to your profile, to your credit report, as well as all the history, as well as that limit. So then that card you do not use because that doesn't belong to you. That's just a placeholder, right? Then you'll follow the process with the 30 days. Using your credit card for everything, making multiple payments throughout the month, making sure when the statement closes, before the statement closes, you knock it down below 5% as soon as the statement closes and the balance is due. Don't forget, you might have 22 days, 24 days before the balance is due. You're not doing a minimum payment. You're not going to wait 15 days to pay it. You're going to pay it on the second or third because because you watched this video, that as soon as the statement closes on the 10th, by the 12th, you're making a payment. All right. So like I said, this process takes about 90 days, 91 days. And you'll just go ahead and you'll call your bank that has the highest limit, the card that you've been using, ask for a credit limit increase. Now, let's say if you have a card that only has $2,500, then you're going to do the same thing, except obviously you don't want it to get to $2,500. You may let it get to $1,000 in that month, pay it back down, knock it down, get it back up, knock it down, and then make sure that by closing date it's back down. So if you're at 25, you may have to ask to double it to 5 or 6. You could ask for 7. I think doubling it is probably the easiest, but that might be too easy. So maybe if you go for like 7,000, because then once you get to 7,000, you're still doing the same process again, and then you get to 10,000. So now you got to pull it all together. Now you got the one card at 10,000. You got the second card at 2,500, and then you have your third card at 1,000. Which card do you go after next? Your choice. You may have to switch cards. Some people prefer let those cards sit, allow them to go ahead and do the credit limit on their own, credit increases on their own, or you can apply for new credit cards. So me personally, it depends on your situation, because if you apply for a new credit card, you can come out the gate and get 5,000 or 6,000, but it messes up and brings down your average credit, your average age of your credit cards. So that's something that you're going to have to decide. But you can definitely switch cards to that second one. That's 2,500. Bring that up in a 3-step process. Then go to the 1,000. Now, by the time you get to the 1,000 card, this may have been 6 months, 9 months. Now, when you have 2 cards, one is 10,000, one is 7,500, one is 1,000. Now you're going from 1,000 to 5,000, because you've already proven that 7,500, 10,000, and then let's bring that one up. All right. So hopefully you found this useful. Again, this is for grown folks only. And I would say that, if you can just imagine all the things that's going on in your life, in the world, if for the next 90 days, your biggest problem or biggest worry is just how can I use my credit card the most so I can get me a $10,000 limit in 3 months. Not a bad life. All right. So you know the drill. Do not click the subscribe. Do not click the like button, but take this information, use it, apply it, teach someone else, and let's build together. All right. Later.